Let me explain to you how to change a business address for an LLC. So if you have an LLC, whether you have a single member LLC or a multi-member LLC, I'm going to explain to you how to change a business address. So here's the approach I want you to really pay attention to. The thing here is that an address change in the life of your LLC may not seem like a major event, but it could lead to one if you don't update your business location on your governing documents and with other agencies and parties, okay? Because failure to change your business address can lead to your LLC losing its operating license. In some cases, you might actually switch from being a domestic LLC to a foreign LLC. And we know that there are some consequences when it comes to having a foreign LLC in any state for that matter. And the question here is that, do you always have to change your business address? Not always. It depends. Depends on the situation. So let's say if you're opening a new office but will still operate from your existing location, most likely you will not have to change your address. If, however, and this is the big however here, if you don't plan on being physically present at the existing location, plan to work from home, or will now have a virtual office address, you will need to update your address with the appropriate agencies and parties. See, the whole thing here is that if you want to avoid being labeled as a foreign LLC, you're going to have to either work or live in the same state where your LLC is located, okay? And this is really important. Now, the thing is that when we talk about changing the business address for your LLC, this carries consequences, not just in terms of being labeled as a foreign LLC, but also in terms of licensure. There are some licenses that are issued by state agencies, and you have to be in the state. You have to do business in the state. If you're out of that state, then you have then you can actually have potential problems. I'm not even talking about sales taxes also, because there's another area where you have to actually find out whether or not you qualify for something called Nexus, or whether or not you are you're required to actually collect and remit sales taxes to state authorities. So those are really important. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Now, when you have an address change for your LLC, there are a few parties that you need to really notify. That's really important, and those are important stakeholders for your business. And so, whom do you really notify about your LLC address change? Well, the U.S. Postal Service, so USPS. So the post office makes it very easy to change your address. So just go online to usps.com/move and follow the prompts to fill in your old information and new business address. And if you're moving your home address, you will need to fill out a separate change of address form with your new contact info. So USPS, that's the first element here. Number two, you got to think about the IRS. Very important. Go to the IRS Gov website to search and find Form 8822-B. Okay, so you will use this form to change your registered business mailing address, business location, or the identity of your responsible party. Now, the form is fairly straightforward and takes care of updating your employer identification number information, your EIN information. So, as you know, your EIN is kind of similar to your business's social security number. It is used for, among other things, to file taxes. Okay, and so once you have downloaded and filled out the form, I'm talking here about the 8822-B. You will need to mail the original physical copy to the IRS. And unlike Form SS-4, which you use to obtain your EIN, the IRS doesn't permit online submissions of Form 8822-B. Make sure to keep a copy of the completed document for your records. You also need to contact state taxation agencies. So each state is different, so you will need to check with your state's tax collector's office to determine the notification requirements. You'll need to notify all states in which your company does business. So some states like Texas and Florida make it very easy to change your address. Just go online and enter your information on the amendment form. There is no fee attached. Other states like Pennsylvania have a minimal $5 processing fee to change your registered office mailing address. You also need to reach out to relevant licensing agencies. So depending on the state in which your LLC is located in your industry, you will likely have to notify those entities of your current address, and you want to update those agencies so you continue to receive important certifications and license renewal information. the correct LLC address. You also might need to cancel local or state licenses from your old location. You also need to reach out to your registered agent. So if your registered agent is a separate entity, in other words, not an employee or member of your LLC, you won't need to update your address with the government agencies because the registered office address is that of the registered agent. You will, however, need to notify the agent of your new physical location so any original documents get to you in a timely manner. Also, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to change a business address for an LLC. So the thing here is that if you're trying to really change your a business address for your LLC, of course those are the most important parties you need to notify. But there are other parties. So whom else should you notify really? So the thing here is that government agencies, corporations, and registered agents are they play an important role, right? Yes, but anybody, any stakeholder with whom you have, let's say, a constant interaction, you need to notify them. Let me give you an example. Financial institutions, lenders, vendors, and customers, banks, credit unions, right? You want to add banks and vendors whose statements and correspondence you don't want to miss to the list of entities to notify. And if lenders helped your LLC get started, you probably have as a condition that you must inform them of a change of address. And all your customers should also be notified of address changes because some may send payment to the old address after your post office forwarding notice ends. So and this happens within 6 months, by the way. And most likely, you'll be able to notify these parties about your new location through an online portal, a form letter, or an email to your contact list. Okay, and if you have very important clients, you want to actually contact them directly or privately by phone and really let them know, okay, this is what it is. I mean, every company has important clients, so you want those clients, those very few select clients, you want to inform them yourself. Okay, and also when we talk about registered agent, the thing is when you created your LLC, you had to designate a registered agent to keep track of the business's important legal and tax document deliveries, right? They must know about business address changes. This is if that registered agent doesn't work within your company. And also, you got to think about website and social media profiles so you can notify the public of your new address by updating the address on your website and social media account. This is a simple process, but if you have any trouble, just reach out to your web designer and they'll take care of it. Also, you might have to think about physical signs, for example. Just to cover all your bases, it will be a great idea to place a sign at your old location to let any in-person visitors know about your new location. So without the signage, you may lose customers who will assume that you are closed for good. So when we talk about business location, there are certain forms that you should actually update about business location. And there are two important ones. Actually, there are three, but the top two here are articles of organization, insurance policies, and the third one is basically your operating agreement. Okay, so let's talk about articles of organization. So when you created your LLC, you filed articles of organization, and this is sometimes called certificate of formation or something similar with your Secretary of State or a similar agency, right? Now, the thing is, what you have to do here is to revisit that office's website or call them up to learn the specific regulations, the required forms, the filing fees, and local licenses, if any, that are necessary to update the LLC articles of organization with your new business address. And basically, the process I'm telling you should really be really fast. Nothing complicated here. It just you just need to find the time and just get it done. That's all. And nothing complicated here. So once you know which forms to complete, you want to fill them out and submit them to the Secretary of State in your jurisdiction and pay their corresponding filing fee. So that's for articles of organization. What about insurance policies? Well, you need to ensure your business and other insurance coverage remains valid, right? And since your physical location may affect the type of insurance you need and the premiums you will pay, you need to inform them about your LLC address change. And this is so important because something were to happen, if you don't have the right coverage, you might be disappointed. Also, your operating agreement. This is another place where you might want to put the new the new address. Even though an operating agreement is not really a legal document, it's still a quintessential document for your LLC, and think of it as a working document. It's a document you have to update every now and then to make sure you account for changes that are happening in your business and that you need to account for. And it's one of those things where unless you make the change, you're not going to have a properly written operating agreement. Plus, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to change a business address for an LLC. Let's talk about another scenario. Let's say you're moving your LLC address to a new state, right? So if you move in your headquarters to a new state but want to continue doing business in your old state, you have some options, okay? And you still need to notify everyone else that I just mentioned earlier, right? The USPS, the IRS, the state taxation agencies, the relevant licensing agencies, the registered agent, financial institutions, lenders, vendors, and customers, website and social media profile, physical. You still have to do this. But you also can register a foreign LLC. So the best option for doing business in your old city or state once you have moved is to actually register as a foreign LLC. So when you register as a foreign LLC, you're simply stating that your business's headquarters is in a state other than the one in which you are doing business. For example, if your business has a Michigan headquarters registration, but you're also doing business in Indiana or Georgia or Florida, you need to register a foreign LLC in those three states, Indiana, Florida, or Georgia. So after you register your foreign LLC, you must then comply with the laws in all the states in which you have registered. For example, if the states have different annual filing fees and requirements, you must follow all of them. That can get complicated and expensive, but that's the only way for your LLC to conduct business in multiple states. And if you no longer want to do business in your home state, you have other options to transfer your LLC to a new state. What about dissolving your existing LLC? If you plan to transfer everything to your new state and completely stop doing business in your previous state, dissolving your existing LLC and forming a new one in your new state may be the best way to go about it. So the process to dissolve your existing LLC varies by state. So if you are a single member LLC with no debts, the process is fairly simple. Your articles of organization or operating agreement will detail rules about how to dissolve your LLC. And dissolution generally requires a vote of the members. If you are the only member, there's no problem. But if you have multiple members, you may need everyone's approval. So whether your LLC is a single member or a multi-member, you will need to wrap up all the business of the LLC to actually dissolve it, which means what? Paying off all debts and distributing all the assets. So it's really important to remember though, gains will be taxable if the value of cash or securities distributed to members is greater than their original contribution. And appreciation on real estate or personal property assets is not taxable. So only once you dissolve your old LLC according to the laws of that state can you then form a new LLC in your new state. Let's talk about domesticating your LLC. The other option is to domesticate your LLC. Let's talk about that. So you can change the state of registration for your LLC. And once you complete the process, the laws of the original state cease to apply. And the new state laws come into effect. Now, this is kind of cool because there are several benefits to domesticating your LLC. First of all, there's no interruption in business. You can continue to use your same bank accounts. You can continue to use the same EIN. So this is kind of important, especially if you are trying to build business credit at the same time you are actually doing these changes in business address. And dissolution, in this case, is not necessary. Okay, so again, this is very important. So just want to say, when we talk about domesticating, it just means that you are changing the state of registration for your LLC. Now, the domestication process differs by state, and you need to follow the laws of both states. In general, however, the domestication process is draft conversion plan. You need to draft the conversion plan. You need to actually approve the conversion plan. You need to complete documents for each state. You need to file. You need to fully form the new domesticated LLC. Let me explain real quick. When we talk about drafting the conversion plan, this step, which outlines the steps of domestication, is actually best done by an attorney. Everything I'm telling you, by the way, if this is not really clear to you, please reach out to an attorney so you have a clear idea what's really happening here. When we talk about members approving the plan, this is the second most important sort of step. You need to complete documents for each state. You need to file, so you need to actually submit conversion forms and pay the fees. You need to fully form the new domesticated LLC. So basically what happens here is that you need to complete the new states documents required by law. And conflicting laws between states make domestication complicated. There may also be tax considerations at the state level, such as unpaid franchise taxes that may become due, and it's just better to reach out to an attorney who has a wealth of knowledge about the whole thing. The best way for you to actually win, to actually succeed in doing a business address transition for your LLC is to make a change business address checklist. That way you are pretty clear. See, whenever you move your business, you will have so much more to do than just change your LLC address. But changing your address is not something you can forget, because not doing so could shut down your business and hurt your business name. It's all about reputation, and it's all about regulatory compliance. And so many parties, when you think about it, so many parties have an interest in your work. So they will need to know your new business address, especially government entities such as the Internal Revenue Service. I mean, the IRS always wants to make sure where you are at. Okay, so the best way to ensure you complete this crucial step is to make yourself a checklist of everything to do to move your business and put changing your address right at the top. That way you are pretty sure that you cover all bases, and you got to cover all bases. Because otherwise, again, the bottom line here is that you do not want to receive, like a few months from now, correspondence at your new address or even at your old address telling you that you owe like $1,000 for. I'm just giving you a hypothetical example, right? The whole thing is you just want to be in the know of what's really happening with your old address and with your new address. Bottom line is, let people know. So if they have something, if they have something to tell you about the change, let me drink some water here. All right, thank you. So basically, I was just saying that you have to let people know what's really happening with your LLC. That's really the bottom line. That way you are pretty clear that basically everybody's informed, and if there is anything, you'll be reached as your new address. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Into this conversation, I was just talking to you about how to change the business address for an LLC. So I explained everything to you, whom you should notify, what forms you need to update, what if you're moving to a different state, what you should do. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.